Welcome to the February 12th, 2019 Town Council meeting. Erica, will you get a roll call, please?
Andy Schaefer.
Here.
Andy Key.
Here.
Trey Roby.
Here.
Luke Gear.
Present.
Tyson Hacking.
Here.
Matt Bilgren.
Here.
Rich Garner.
Here.
Tyson, would you mind giving the invocation, please?
Our dear Heavenly Father, we're grateful for this day and we're grateful for the opportunity to serve the town of Rangeley. We ask Thee to bless us that we can do what we feel is right and strive to help those around us. We're grateful, Heavenly Father, for those who serve and protect us and for the military, and we ask Thee to bless them that they may be protected as well. We love Thee and we say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Lisa, will you lead us in the pledge, please?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 5, discussion and action to approve the minutes of the January 22nd, 2019 meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the January 22nd, 2019 minutes.
Second.
Motion's made by Andy Key, second by Rich Garner. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Petitions and non-public input. Would anybody like to address the council?
They can during their discussion.
Huh?
They're going to during their discussion.
Okay, all right. Any changes to the agenda?
No.
We don't have any public hearings, committee and board meetings? I don't think we've had anything.
Remember, I don't think there's been any since the last meeting.
Okay. Reports from council. Does anybody have, what did you just come up with?
No.
Okay. Anybody else? Supervisory report. Officer Hamlin.
All it is the first timer. You want to be on the podium?
Please.
That's where the track is.
I see. Good evening. I believe you all have the breakdown of our calls from last month in front of you. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Regardless of personnel issues, we still are staying busy. There's still calls coming in, and we're still responding for calls for service. What I wanted to speak with you about this evening is some different personnel changes. We were able to hire 2 full-time dispatchers. We also hired 1 part-time dispatcher, which will bring us to full staff. Their training process will be 3 months long. After that, then we will be a 24-hour dispatch center again. And then, because currently right now the sheriff's office is still dispatching for us Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday evenings from 7 p.m. till 7 a.m. Once these dispatchers are fully trained, that'll stop. Another personnel thing is I brought Officer Jesse Leach with me. I'm going to let him introduce himself here in a moment when I get done with this. Our cadet in the academy, Daniel Connor, I talked to the academy director last week, and he said he is doing awesome. Daniel's consistently performing in the top of his class, and there's a direct quote in there that he will be a great asset to our team. A matter of fact, he even referenced the last one that we sent down, and he said this one it's night and day, not even a comparison. Nothing but high praise for Daniel Connor. Also, we recently brought Dan Nye on part-time in a temporary capacity to help cover shifts. This allowed us to have dedicated service to the town of Rangeley 5 nights a week, and that reduces the sheriff's office, the burden from the town of Rangeley on the sheriff's office to 48 hours. So as of right now, they're covering Saturday and Sunday all day. And before they were doing 7 days a week night shifts. So bringing Dan on has allowed us to reduce that burden, which has been a good thing. And so far, Dan's only worked a few shifts, but things have been really working out, and no complaints from anybody that I've spoken to about. The other thing I'd like to mention is that dispatcher Mariah Moreno received a letter of commendation as well for her actions on December 26th. We had agencies, Moffett County and the Sheriff's Office initiated pursuit with a wanted felon. That came through our community at it was a slow pursuit, failure to yield. They came through at 30 miles an hour. He called 911 and told dispatcher Moreno to have the officer stop following him. He just wanted to get to Dinosaur, drop his car off, and then he could go to jail. And she was a big part. She was able to convince him to give up peacefully and surrender without incurring any more charges, without causing any danger to the community. Without her quick thinking and steady voice, I don't think he would have given up. So she received a letter of commendation for her actions on that day. And the last thing that I have for you is just that Moffett County was assisting us, and they fulfilled the request that we asked them for, and so Moffett County is no longer covering any shifts in the town of Rangeley. Any questions for me before I have Mr. Leach come in and introduce himself?
No, Ty, I want to tell you that me personally, I appreciate what you've done as far as stepping up as the interim chief. I've heard a lot of great things that you've been doing, and I know your overtime has been double of what a normal person's normal wait time is. So me personally, I would like to say thank you for what you've done and stepping up into the position that you're stepping up into, and let you know that we appreciate it. I appreciate it, what you've done for this town.
You're welcome. Thank you. Anything else? Mr. Leach, will you come introduce yourself?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for having me here. I am Officer Jesse Leach, newly hired here for Rangeley PD. I'm originally from Grand Junction. I have a wife with a 14-year-old daughter. She's currently attending the high school here. So thus far, we have enjoyed our time. Thank you guys very much for welcoming us in the community at such short notice. I'm a recent graduate of Colorado Christian University and a recent graduate of the Technical College of the Rockies for their Post Academy. So if you have any questions for me, I'd be happy to entertain them for you.
Welcome to our community. I appreciate you. Does anyone have other questions for the PD? Jeff?
Before I get started with my supervisor's report, my wife and myself would like to thank the town of Rangeley, Mayor Schaefer, for the invite to the Crab Crack last weekend. We had a great time. Really want to thank Andy for inviting us there. As far as my crew activities in January, on a Saturday, this is just one Saturday, we had 3 broken water service lines. Well, 2 broken water service lines and a sprinkler system that didn't get shut off. So one of them was on South Stanley. That was a sprinkler system that had blown apart from the house. 111 Foothill Drive is the old Nyberger Apartments. Their service line actually ties in the meters in apartment 1 and runs all the way through the next 5. With them not being vacated, they're freezing and breaking. The third one on the day was Jake Osborne's service line up on Middle Street. So we ended up having to go back on Monday and finish digging that one up. We got it off. He actually had a break in his house, but then when we dug it up, there was actually a leak on the curb stop. So that was the third one of that day. As for the rest of January, we've taken down the Christmas decorations at the City Hall in the White River Village. We plow snow when we have any. We sand streets. A lot of snow removal around town. Apartment 21 down at White River Village, we demoed that for carpet. We have since painted that, but that'll be in February. We repaired the service leak up on Middle Street. We've installed 2 new backhoe tires on the back of our Case 590. Still miscellaneous repairs at White River Village in the townhomes. A little bit of work down at the animal shelter. continual vehicle and equipment maintenance, minor repair on our lights on our plow trucks, chip and ice on Main Street when it thaws and freezes, and we hung this little fancy mirror out here at the City Hall. Most of our time, you guys know where it's at, so. So it's kind of brought to my attention about why the state's not plowing Main Street. So I spoke with Gary Denny. When we first spoke, he said if they were to plow it, it would go from the middle to the curb, which wouldn't work. Then we discussed that a little bit, and then we discussed about him possibly coming in and helping us move the piles off of Main Street. He has no problem with that on a weekend if there's not another snowstorm right behind that one, because he's like us. They don't have a lot of hands, and they're doing the same thing we are, following the snow around. So he has no problem with helping us, but it would probably be more on a weekend type of deal. If anybody wants to talk to his supervisor about the plowing of Main Street, it's a state statute, I guess. I didn't get the copy of it. He said just call this guy. That any state highway that goes through a municipality, a city limits, they will not plow. When they do drop their plow to help us out, they're just doing that on being good guys. When we do get the piles of snow off of Main Street, Gary will come in. If the temperature is above 17 degrees, they will shoot mag chloride down the center, which yesterday they dumped 200 gallons. So they are helping us in a sense. So, but if anybody wants to call the supervisor, I have his name and his number. So give it to you afterwards if you want it.
Is that it, Jeff?
That's all I got.
You guys have any questions for Jeff? Thank you for what you and your crew are doing for the getting the snow removed out of town. I know it's a thankless job, but I feel like you guys are doing a great job.
Oh, thank you.
Lisa.
Good evening. I just want to also recognize both of our supervisors. Ty has single-handedly run the police department with a lot of help, but he's done an awesome job. And of course, Jeff keeps the snow piles where they're supposed to go and tell us when they're not. So I think they've both done an awesome job. Also, since Anthony's here, I'd just like to recognize that we do thank the Sheriff's Department for dispatching the sheriff's officers, because they are doing that at no charge, and that's a huge financial burden that we don't have to bear. So
Thank you.
I want to thank you.
Thank you.
I did go to the CCMA conference this last week, had some really good conversations with other new town managers. The Newcastle, Sill, Rifle, Aspen all have brand new managers or in transition, so I don't feel so left out. Some really good conversations, and we're talking about maybe trying to get together quarterly and just exchange, different ideas and common things that we're going through, and maybe we don't have to reinvent the wheel for similar, towns on the Western Slope. AGNC meeting is next Wednesday. I don't know if you're going to be able to attend, Andy. Or
Planning on it. Yep.
Okay. I did a webinar for a READY grant, and there's some other grants that we're working on. One for the wastewater manhole replacement. AGNC has a grant that we're going to apply for, maybe to help with Main Street program as well. And Kimball and I talked about some other grants that might be beneficial, but we're going to work on that when she gets back from vacation. She also wanted to know if the council would like to look at maybe having a retreat late March, early April. So I'm going to ask you guys to maybe think about some dates that you're available. That would probably be either a Friday or a Saturday. Maybe start thinking about that, and we can get some dates narrowed down for when she gets back. And we'll talk about kind of the setup of, how we want to go through with that and make the most headway. obviously, we've got some new hires, and we're really anxious to get them all going. And we haven't got to really recognize Erica either. She's been doing a great job, so I'm really appreciative of that. The Energy Symposium is in April. I didn't know Matt attended last year. If any of you are interested in attending that, I'll get that information out to you. I don't think it has to be registered for right away, but it's just something if you want to think about going. Don't have much else right now, just leading up to meetings. RDA, RDC is next week, and so if there's any questions anybody has about any of those kind of meetings or want to attend, fill you in on those. Any other questions? You're kind of quiet.
Thanks, Lisa. We don't have any old business, new business. Item A, discussion and action to approve the 2018 audit to be performed by Colorado CPA for $12,200.
Andy, you forgot Janet Miller. I don't know if you had anything in. Oh, okay. Sorry, there was a section in here for her, but whatever. We're good.
Are you talking about the minutes?
No, I was looking. Sorry. Go ahead.
So discussion action to approve the 2018 audit to be performed by Colorado CPA for $12,200. Marlo?
Yep.
Welcome.
Thanks. Just here in case you guys have any questions, pretty straightforward. Again, we don't anticipate doing a single audit. It'd be more intense and inclusive. You get so many federal funds, you're required to have that, but we don't anticipate doing that, so it'll be a pretty traditional audit. If you have any other questions for me, I can try to answer.
That's the same amount that we were charged last year.
How many years consecutively have you done our audit?
Um,
You personally, I'm asking too, like, since you've kind of taken over.
Well, this is my second year in business, so it'll be my second.
Second one, okay.
If there isn't any other questions, I'd entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the 2018 audit to be performed by Colorado CPA for $12,200.
Second.
Motion is made by Luke, second by Trey. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item B, discussion and action to approve the January 2019 check register.
I'll make a motion to approve the January 2019 check register.
Second.
Motion is made by Andy Key, second by Matt. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item C, discussion action to approve a contribution to the Rangeley High School for the 2019 Rowdy Worm. Girls, if you would just state your name and give us the best spill you've got.
Deal. So I'm Jalen Kenny, and this is Zoe Peck, and we're the Rowdy Worm co-chairs, and we were coming here to request a donation from the town to go towards Rowdy Worm. And I'd just like to say that every year the money that you guys do donate goes back into the town. Like, we spend it at local businesses and stuff, so the money goes right back into the community. But the money would go towards prizes and entertainment to keep the kids, like, wanting to come.
What was the attendance last year, percentage-wise?
So there's not many high school students, as you guys probably know. So I think there was about 30. So there's about, sorry.
We get all the seniors usually because they have to be at Rowdy Worm to get their senior gifts. And then most people that do go to prom are actually at Rowdy Worm.
So, okay. Cool.
We've been given $750 for the last few years.
motion to contribute $750 to 2019 Rowdy Worm.
Second.
Motion is made by Andy Key for $750 to the Rowdy Worm, second by Rich Garner. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, ladies, for coming. I think it's a great program you guys have going, and I think it does keep kids out of trouble. Will you guys have the breathalyzer also where they go before they go into there?
Yes.
Ty, you'll help them out with that this year? Cool. Awesome. Perfect. Item D, discussion and action to approve the liquor license modification of premises application for Come and Go. I think this is the same type of application that we worked with Loaf and Jug with a couple meetings ago, where they're looking for 5 doors instead of 1.
Expand, right?
Janet, do you want to talk about it any at all?
So yeah, it's just basically the same deal as we did for Loaf and Jug. They're expanding their coolers from 1 to 5. So it's just same thing as what we did before.
And it's $150.
It's a $150 fee to the state.
Oh, that's passed on to the state. Okay.
We don't have a local fee for it.
Okay.
And there's only one other liquor licensing in town, which would be Nichols, and they don't intend to do a modification from what I've talked to them. So this will probably be the last one.
I'll just express my concern once again about this having an impact on our local owned liquor stores, and that it's going to take away from their volumes. I know that I'm going to get into the same argument with these guys as I did last time. Just expressing my concern.
I'll make a motion to approve the liquor license modification of premise application for Come and Go. Too many words.
I'll second that.
Motion is made by Andy, second by Matt. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item E, discussion action to approve the liquor license renewal application for Loaf and Jug. And I think I read in there that there was no violations or problems in the last.
Motion we approve it. Second.
Motion's been made by Rich, second by Luke. Is there any other discussion?
Yeah, I was going to jump in. Why is it we're having to approve another liquor license when we just approved a modification to that way?
Modification of where they're selling it.
Right. So how can we clean that up to where we're not having to do another approval 3 weeks later?
Modification is different.
That's just a one-time thing unless they want to change it.
Right. So is there a way we can write up ours to where we do an extension, a year extension, if there is a modification, so we're not looking at it 3 weeks later again?
We haven't looked at it. We looked at Loaf and Jug and we looked at Come and Go now.
That's what I'm saying. So like 3 meetings ago or whatever, we looked at Loaf and Jugs
Just
as a modification. I understand that. And what I'm saying is, why can't can we figure out how we can make it to where we're not approving a modification and then 3 meetings later?
Yeah, we shouldn't have
That's
that.
what's the
I understand your question.
Do you? Okay. What I'm saying is, like, how do we clean up the process so we're not getting approving liquor licenses
It may not be
for
our
the same
decision
thing?
because the state requires that we do that.
So the renewals come up once a year at
Right.
the same time every year. So this modification is just something that they're doing because of the new liquor laws. So it's just a one-time deal.
So what I'm asking is, can we change it? Is there something we can do to change our process to where when they do a modification, it extends it to the year? So therefore, once we approve that modification, 1 year from then, there will be approving it again. Not
You should-
So it's a
We don't
state
have to
statute.
approve the modification anymore. The modification is a one-time deal. The liquor licenses from here on out is all we'll have to approve.
Two separate processes.
Unless they come in and say we want to change it again.
But
Well,
if
that's
they
what
do,
the
they don't
state says
have to
to do.
do that at the time of their renewal. They might want to do it halfway through the year. They don't want to necessarily wait till their renewal.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. So if we do it halfway through the year, can we figure out a way to where when we vote on that halfway through the year, that becomes their new start point of the year?
That's not our decision. That's the state's decision.
We can't do anything that says we extend it from that point.
It's a state statute. The state decides that.
Okay. Well, I guess I'm raising the stink with the wrong crowd.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item F, discussion and action to approve the liquor license renewal for Willis Rangeley Enterprise LLC, DBA Rangeley Liquor Store. And I think it's the same thing. I don't think we've had any incidents.
I'll make a motion to approve the liquor license renewal for Willis Rangeley Enterprise LLC.
Second.
Motion by Andy, second by Rich. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item G, discussion and action to accept the Executive DOLA Grant EIAFA-0041 in the amount of $8,100 for the water treatment plant corrosion site assessment plan.
And the only reason we're doing this is because now with their new electronic way of accepting those, the mayor doesn't sign it anymore, but the council has to accept that we are taking that grant on and going to utilize it. And we will. If you guys
Motion by Rich,
Second.
second by Trey. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 15, water rights ruling and ruling by and entry letter.
So if you read through that, we were successful in retaining those water rights, but it will become more rigorous, like as Jocelyn's indicated, going forward. So Dawn and Jocelyn are already working on strategies of how to, justify all of our water rights going forward. And but I think Dawn's going to talk about that a little more in our work session our next meeting. But we were successful.
So basically, we're good for another 6 years.
Yes.
Any questions on that? Looks like we have the same board vacancies. Anything special on the announcements?
Just regular board meetings. I don't have anything other than what we talked about in my report.
Would anybody else like to address the council at this time? Show us adjourned at 19:27. Thank you guys for showing up.